Hello and welcome to Topsin. My name is William Lebowski. Today we are looking at a big flight leaving Kona International Airport and ultimately ending up in Kawaii, but not before going over a ton of water, going over Kahoʻolawe, the uninhabited island, as well as Lanai. We will also see Oahu. I'm sure we'll see Maui, and if it's there, Molokini Crater. I'm interested to see if that will be represented in the game. And then we will touch down on the ground in Kawaii. And it's looking like the prediction of our estimated time in the air is going to be 1 hour and 53 minutes, hoping that we could shave that down as much as possible, being reasonable. But let's start taking to the skies. You can see we're pretty much doing that bottom half of the flight plan today. There we go. We've been spit out on the runway. Let's go ahead and get into the cockpit. It looks like we're not going to need our VFR map because we do have that handy-dandy instrumentation, although it's a pretty straight shot. We're going to be leaving here, going along this whole bottom route here. We will be going over Kahoʻolawe. Molokini should be somewhere right about here if we'll be able to see it. Then we'll go over Lanai. Here is Molokai, which we came over earlier. We will pass by Oahu, head all the way to the far side of Kauai. So hopefully that doesn't take us too long. But I will go ahead and get a stopwatch going, just timing it myself. You can see we're only looking at 1, 2, and 3. Wait, no, I did that wrong. Oh, it looks like we're looking at 5 or 6. 5 steps there, including takeoff and landing. So a couple of easy turns should be really easy to spot. Let's just go ahead and see if there's any interesting notes in our nav log. So we will be seeing Molokini, but they call it an island, which is interesting, between the reserve and the island of Maui. It is one of the best dive spots and snorkel spots. I will add snorkel to that list in all of Hawaii. Definitely agree. I've been there many times. It's fantastic, so definitely very excited to see Molokini Crater. And then beyond that, we're just going to be bringing it down past Diamond Head. And then, oh, we will know, over Oahu, we'll see Pearl Harbor. And then bring it over to Lanai. They are recommending that we fly at 8,500 feet. We'll see about that. So let's go ahead and throttle up. Let's see if they gave us the parking brake, if we are all set to go. Looks like we are parking brake free. Full throttle. Velo is excited. A little bit of wind blowing us around. Gotta use this rudder ever so carefully. There we go. We've cleared 60 knots as we approach over 70 still on the ground. Gently pull up. There we go. You can see we're just in a bunch of lava fields. Kona Airport, I hate it so much. It's so humid and hot. It's one of the least attractive parts of Hawaii, if I'm being quite frank. Where are you going? Don't step on the keyboard. Don't step on the keyboard. Don't step on the keyboard, bud. Oh, how you doing? How you doing? You want to come up here? Is that what you're saying? We literally just took off, man. I'd have to get you back on the ground if you were interested in doing that thing that starts with the W. Alright, we are already flying at the correct heading here. 7,000 feet was the altitude that we flew from Oahu to Maui at. It just took so long to get there. You can see we're going so slow. This is the speed that we took off at. So I think we're going to try something. We're going to try to go a little bit renegade here. Here at 1,000 feet, we are leveling off. We're going to obviously still maintain our heading. But full throttle, let's get ourselves up to speed a bit, down low. Because quite frankly, speed-wise, between 8,000 feet and 1,000 feet is not going to do us much difference in terms of ground speed. So that's not necessarily going to do anything However, it just will allow us to get that speed increased. Looks like it's just steadily holding with where our throttle is. I'll have to adjust trim if we're not going to want to. Yeah, and that's not necessarily keeping us level either. Huh, it kind of is. Oh, flaps. Are you kidding me? So that was the whole problem here. So now we're going to have to go back, get that trim back up one more. There we go. Okay. That's probably going to be closer to our liking. Although it is not acting like it. Yeah, let's stay under the clouds. Let's see what that does. Let's keep our speed and keep ourselves under the clouds. Because climbing up to 8,500 feet is that's a young man's game. Rather, that's an old man's game. Dumb young man's gonna keep it real low over the ocean. 2,000 feet over the ocean. Because to be frank, yes, I should be doing this as a complete simulation. And you would never do this in real life, so you would never, why would you do this in the simulation? You'd have air traffic control probably yelling at you, and your own safety thinking, get yourself up in the sky just in case something bad happens to you. You don't have to go swim all the way back home. However, we're talking about a 2-hour flight and a fake flight in a tiny Cessna. And there is a lot to see and a lot to do, and I want to get a little bit closer. Like, I'm going to want to be closer than the cloud level to some of these things. So we're going to be coming down anyway. So we might as well keep the speed. So that's my argument. I probably have made that argument a few different ways now. That's what we're doing. Even though no matter what I try to do, the plane is just heading upwards. See, let's throttle back a little bit. There we go. That might be helpful. Let's see, off in the distance, I would assume the first thing that we would see would be Kahoʻolawe, which would make Maui somewhere off to the right, maybe at 2:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere in that time distance. So what we should be looking at to our right, if we drop below the clouds here, should be Maui. So for the sake of tourism, let's drop ourselves down. Take a look. Let's get below the clouds and see if we can see anything. Should be off at about 2 o'clock. Not seeing anything so far. Maybe something through the clouds. Maybe something through the clouds at about 1:30. Ooh, getting a little fast there. Looks like Haleakala. Okay, let's look right at it. Let's face what would be right at it. Get off course a little bit. Its face right would be right in front of us. Okay, so that we can see a little blob through the clouds. Okay, let's get back on our flight plan. So there's not quite much worth seeing. Let's go back to full throttle, get some elevation back to it. and log some time in the sky. So according to the flight log, we should be looking like we're right over top of some awesome places like Kahoʻolawe, Molokai. Looks like Maui should be to our right. But I think the very first thing that we'd be pulling up to would be Molokini Crater. That's something I'm definitely interested in seeing. So let's drop down through the clouds to see what we can see. So far, nothing but clouds, but we're dropping off of our flight plan. Let's get ourselves oriented correctly in the right direction. All right, so there's Kahoʻolawe. You can tell by the surface color of it. That's actually an uninhabited island. It was used as bombing practice during World War II. Alright, let's see. Are we... Gotta be able to find Molokini. Let's see, I think we're looking at Maui now completely. This little spin that we're doing, not seeing anything. Yeah. So no Molokini Crater yet. We'll keep our eyes peeled though. Definitely that island in front of us is Kahoʻolawe. Let's not divert from the flight plan too much, as we do have a lot to do. But let's just fly over a generous middle section of Kahoʻolawe, and maybe we're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe we're just on the wrong side completely. My knowledge of where I think I am is completely false. It's entirely possible. And then we can reset our timer, as it looks like our nav log is coming up to the next point of interest. Alright, so just looking at our next step in the nav log, and it seems like we're supposed to be seeing Molokini in this stage of the journey. So glad we haven't missed it. But our eyes are still peeled. Alright, started the timer. We're looking for... Whoa. Where are we? 13 minutes and 36 seconds. Also, eyes peeled for Molokini Crater. But this island in front of us that we're looking out just off of 12 o'clock is Lanai. Let's see, there's not even like no tourism, there's no roads in Kahoʻolawe. I was always really curious about it. I was like, wanted to make, could you go there at all? And no, like there's not even accessible beaches, it's all cliff side. There's a reason why not even rich people have built houses on it. It's completely, and the land that would be valuable has been bombed, and so apparently there are unexploded remains, unexploded bombs just left all over the island, shells, mortars, artillery, and I think also poisonous stuff they tested on the island. So not a good place to be. So you wouldn't want to get there if you were there. But just because it's one of those places where everyone says it's like, oh, it's a bad place, it's a no-go, it makes you still curious about it. Curious about the animals that surely birds or whoever else make their home there, something, bugs, stuff makes their home there. So I just curious about what that would be. There's potential that just under, well, not quite anymore. Nope, wrong way. But I think there's potential that Molokini, oh yeah, right about where the, right about where the propeller, no, yeah, I can't see it. I've looked for it before when we came into Maui, where I looked where it would be, and didn't see it. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see it at this point, especially. So let's just get back on course, and I hope that didn't slow us down too much. Definitely glad that we stopped to take those detours over Maui, and I'm sure Kawaii will definitely be worth taking some detours when we fly from Kauai to Oahu in the final leg. And I don't know for sure, but I think we go over the north shore of Oahu, which is very scenic. Love some cliff faces. So I think that last leg is going to be insanely pretty, but man, this is the long haul, the dead leg, the red eye, the terrible portion of the flight that nobody's looking forward to. It's just the longest leg, and you go from one end of Hawaii to the other. And we don't really get to see the good parts in between here and there. I do think here as we go over Lanai, it definitely is inhabited. But we're going to get the same experience that we did with Molokai, and that was new and novel, and they're both, a little bit identical from each other. So we're not really going to see anything new that we didn't see, and I'm not going to really be able to point anything out to you differently. I do have the experience, same experience of, going around and driving a Jeep, but actually you can kind of see the resort. But maybe we can get a better look at that. There's some beaches down there. There's a little cove down there, and then 2 beaches, and a hotel, and a golf course. Down there, you can swim with dolphins in that one cove, in the cove that's furthest away from us. Dolphins show up to that cove. It's actually funny timing that we were talking about all this. And dolphins show up to that cove, and there's that resort. It's like the only thing there. It's very secluded, and you can swim with dolphins. So it's like a major selling point of that place. It's really cool. We didn't stay the night there. We would just take the ferry. At the time, the super ferry existed, and we would just take the super ferry back and forth and be able to stay at our house. So it looks like we'll be able to see their airport. Go over it as we get to this waypoint. It looks like on our nav log, we should be just now, as you can see, my clock has us right now at crossing the 36-second mark. So we're just slightly behind schedule, if you will. So finishing that, whenever we finish this part of the NAG vlog, moving on to the next step as you pass Lanai, Off your right wing, you should see Oahu in the distance. If you would like to get a closer look at the southern side of Oahu, you can begin to descend to 1,000 feet. So they would recommend 1,000 feet. Oh, well, that's the next step. No, yeah, wait, that is our... Okay, once we get to Oahu and descend to 1,000 feet. That is the next order of business. This one should take us 24 minutes. Still not completed. We will reset the clock when it is time. So there's a solid update, actually. So 24 minutes, and then once we start to see Oahu, we can drop down. I think that's going to be towards the end of this waypoint, but we'll see it coming. And we'll definitely see it on our fancy-dancy computers in front of us. Considering we're right on course, I will wait to reset our timer until we are right over. Let's see, can't see the airport, but it would be down there. Yeah, it would be down there if there wasn't a giant cloud. So it looks like we're about a minute and a half off of our waypoint. I'll go ahead and reset the clock now. Ooh, I was looking down and we got way off heading. Looking down at the stopwatch. Okay, hopefully that doesn't slow us down already, right off the bat. So Oahu in the distance is what we should be looking at now at this point. Well, right here, this would be Lanai. Would we see Molokai? I think Molokai is directly, if you look at the edge of the screen, I think that would, or is that Maui still? Hard to tell from where I'm at, but that's either Molokai or Maui. So I think Oahu would be dead ahead of us, literally dead straight ahead of us, and we're not, I don't think we can see it yet, so we can keep the full throttle elevation climb going. And then we will have plenty of time to drop ourselves down to 1,000 feet. But I think we're not going to really see much of anything. Maybe some clouds between then and now, so we can, I think, go ahead and just take another chill break. So we can see Oahu peeking through in the clouds, and they recommended 1,000 feet if we would like to take in the sights. So let's pull the throttle back and let ourselves fall out of the sky a bit here as we work our way down. We did end up I just kept it full throttle, let it run, and we got up over 7,000 feet, looked like about 7,500 feet, which is not that far off from where they recommended we fly, so we were pretty high up there. I just didn't hustle trying to get there. Maybe that was our crucial mistake earlier, was trying to hustle and get there and spending too much time gaining altitude instead of just flying. So we're coming up to the shoreline here. Diamond Head would be a very recognizable point of reference, especially on Oahu. It's in that area. There's not a whole lot of else topographically speaking. So I think maybe even what we're looking at might be coming up to Diamond Head, but it would be right off Waikiki Beach, which would be in front of us on the other side of Diamond Head from us. So that's something to look out for. But it really might be what is directly in front of us as we get a little bit off of our heading. Let's center ourselves back up, and it looks like we might, yeah, oh yeah, that might be Diamond Head right over there. So it's working pretty well. Let's throw some flaps out, give it some throttle, and point ourselves down a little bit so we just make this in a little bit more of a hurry. No need to spend any extra time getting down there. Alright, so we're breaking down through the clouds at this point, descending pretty steadily, somewhat rapidly. And I'm not exact. I think the most protruding part might be Diamond Head, if we're looking at this correctly, but I'm not seeing the appropriate. Maybe those are little skyscrapers behind it. I'm not exactly sure. Can't exactly tell from here. It's not looking like I thought it would in my mind's eye. Oh wow, I thought we were much lower, but we are still over 3,000 feet. So we even got some ways to go before we drop down. Oh no, it mentions nothing about Diamond Head. Diamond Head will be at our next heading. So yeah, Diamond Head will be at our next heading. We are just heading to the coastline of Oahu, the south coastline. Makes me think Diamond Head might be 10:30, but that looks a little flat. That would be closer to where I would expect it to be. Although, is this it? Right in front? I don't know, man. I should stop talking about it. Although it's not mentioned in our nav log, and I think it would be if you were approaching Diamond Head would be definitely mentioned in that nav log. So we're at 2,000, just under 2,000 feet now, 1,900, and trying to go for 1,000 feet. For our Oahuian coastline. And this is supposed to be making up for a pretty lackluster portion of flying so far, where we were just over the ocean from the Big Island. So we're a little bored, we're looking for something fun. And I think we're about to deliver over Oahu. It looks like I'm seeing some skyscrapers pop in and out, which will definitely be better reference points to Diamond Head and for Waikiki. So let's see, we're coming up to our next point of interest, our next point of interest. POI was right. So we're supposed to get there at 24 minutes and 1 second. So far we are 24 minutes and 30 seconds. We are still not quite where we need to be. However, we are just at 1,000 feet. That worked out perfectly. And then we will be flying for our next heading for just over 10 minutes at 11 and a half minutes. So let's go ahead and we can just cut this little corner already. Restart our clock. And we're looking for 11 and a half minutes. We're also now looking around for Diamond Head as well as Waikiki Beach. But I think this is Diamond Head Crater to our right. Definitely right there. That's Diamond Head Crater easily. Especially now that we're about to fly over Waikiki Beach. This has really put it into perspective, but seeing the crater close up like that, that's definitely it. Tons of stairs if you want to hike it. It's a nice little afternoon hike. Definitely recommend it. If you're here, might as well hike it. Very much recommend it. Go do it. If you're there, you might as well. See what we're seeing from real life. So yeah, Diamond Head is at 1,000 feet. You can see we're right next to a Diamond Head, pretty much at its peak. So about 1,000 feet you're looking at for Diamond Head, and Haleakala on Maui is 10,000 feet, and the two volcanoes over on the Big Island are over that 10,000 foot marker as well. So just to put those mountain ranges into perspective, let's go ahead and take a look at Waikiki. There we go. Oh. I think we've been fooled by a false possum. Because I think you literally swim up to Diamond Head. I think we're going over an airport right now. Yes, there it is, Diamond Head, and there's Honolulu. Okay, so there's Diamond Head over there. Alright, so just looking behind us, this is just, yeah, the scene there. Okay, let's get back to our nav log. It's going to take us right over Diamond Head. Right, it looks like we're going to be going over the other side of the crater. We're not exactly going dead over it as I thought, but we are going to be going right over downtown Honolulu, it appears. And there you go, you can see from perspective, you know, we are in the middle of nowhere. You can see the rest of the islands, truly the middle of nowhere, very rural reflection of that. But once you get to Oahu and you see Honolulu, you see why it is one of the biggest cities in the country. It's a large city, bona fide large American city. So yeah, there you go, a little track. I think I was just about to say, I think I've been to this mall that's coming up. I think I've been there before. Let me rephrase that. I've been there before. That's a mall. Wait. No. Okay, let's look at the important things like Diamond Head here. Maybe you can get a better look. So as we go over the crater, come out the other side, we will fly directly over Waikiki Beach. See the trails all over. Looking at downtown. And then let's look back at Diamond Head. There it is. Saw it. Alright, and now we are flying over Waikiki Beach. There it is down there. Hello, party people. Honolulu. Alright, I wonder if we can see the University of Hawaii Stadium so we can see the Pro Bowl Stadium. Don't exactly have this place mapped out because I did not live here. Whoa, we were way off our flight pattern. Let's not fly over Honolulu International Airport. So we're definitely going to be slow on our heading here, but I do think we're supposed to see Pearl Harbor coming up soon, so let's check our nav log. And I know we're looking for 11.5 minutes here. Yes, there it is. Okay, and we will fly over Pearl Harbor. Diamond Head, boom, we've done that. Yeah, Pearl Harbor is next. Follow the shore to the airport. Looks like we got a long leg after this next one, which will be the final one that we take. But it looks like this is going to be the last bit of sightseeing. Well, not sightseeing, but this is going to be the last little bit before our final straight shot approach. So let's see, still looking at Honolulu there. Oh, uh-oh. Don't freeze on me now, baby. Alright, so still looking at Honolulu. Have not seen Pearl Harbor just yet. That would be the airport, Honolulu International Airport. So I do remember that Pearl Harbor was kind of on the other side, like a little further away from downtown, a little further away from Honolulu than you would expect. So maybe it's still a little further, maybe it's still yet in front of us. I forget what the military base is called on Oahu. It's a pretty big one, as it is a pretty tactical point in the Pacific. So a lot of people come in our station in Oahu. I'm now remembering this part of the flight log from right where we took off at Honolulu International Airport, where now all of a sudden we have this annoying parallel flight plan. I mean, it's not annoying, it's not terribly difficult to comprehend. It's just, we're literally flying over a place we've already been now before, and we're just making our way to Kawaii. So, and eventually we're coming back, and I think we're landing at the airport that's just now coming visible. I think that's going to be our final landing spot. You can see where the flight log takes us back to that airport. That is the final destination of this adventure. So this little part that we've already done, it's actually not been in video, so you would have not seen it if you're following the saga along, because we started over on Thompson with leg number 2, which was from the other side of Oahu to Maui. So this is just part of leg 1, and then the final leg 7, I think it is, that ends right at that airport that we're looking at, right down below. So got ourselves trimmed out to full throttle, just under max speed. Everything's going pretty well. RPM's a little high. Oil pressure is still sitting good. I'm not worried about any of those numbers. Considering this isn't a real plane, I'm not worried about running this at full throttle for this period of time. Alright, looks like we can potentially start cutting a corner. Let's pull up our nav log again, and let's just see. So that was 11.5 minutes that we were supposed to do, and we did that in 12:20, and we're still not quite there, but we're going to start to cut the corner here. And now we're just going for 40 minutes, 39.5 minutes until our airport in Kawaii. Flying over a large amount of open water. They want us to head back up to 8,500 feet. As the shore comes into view, you can begin to descend. So we might as well go ahead. It looks like we are now sitting back in for a little bit of a boring time now, as we just had ourselves trimmed nice and flat, which is so satisfying, but we can go ahead and knock that up one. I'll go ahead and reset our time, even though this straight line will bring us to an airport, so timing it's a little bit redundant, but it's just nice to know pace-wise where we're at. This is a very long leg so far. Total time, I think I'm looking at about an hour and 20 minutes so far, I believe, flying. If we estimate about 5 minutes for recording and waiting around and loading beforehand, Jesus Christ. So yeah, we're flying now this final heading. Do we need to pitch ourselves up a little bit more, or are we just catching ourselves in a little bit of a lull? Looks like as we get closer to the North Shore, we can definitely expect it to get choppier. So that is where the wind is coming in from across the ocean with no interruption, and then hitting the mountains and refracting off. But anyway, I do think we need to pitch ourselves up a little bit. And that'll get us the required amount of elevation, keep us going. But I can just go back and forth between those two. So it looks like we're leaving Oahu now. Let's take a look from the outside. I guess I missed where Pearl Harbor specifically was. I didn't see what I thought I should have been seeing. I thought I might have seen the bridge. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong. Maybe I gotta look more. Oh, Pearl Harbor. Maybe it's more in the harbor. I'm an idiot. There's the harbor down below us now. Oh, it's already already too late. We already made our turn. And back over into the mountains. The north side of Oahu. So yeah, now we're just climbing some elevation, getting up in the sky, and waiting till we see a runway. And it looks like when we cross back, we're going to cross back exactly over the same part of the ocean, which is a little bit was a little bit boring of a flight plan to just go out to Kauai and back over the same part. I mean, I get it's a small area where you expect us to go, but I don't know. Maybe it looks like it'll diverge, so maybe those, yeah, it looks like we'll go from one side of the island to the other, which you can't expect much more than that. So land ho, we can see land in front of us. I think the only reasonable thing now to do is drop our nose down a little bit. Actually, let's just do this with pitch. Is that gonna be too much? Let's just do one click so far. So let's do it with pitch so far. I guess I gotta bring the throttle back for sure if we're gonna be gaining speed. I forgot about that. So yeah, we can see land, and as per the nav log directions, once we see land, we can start taking down the altitude, bring it down for final approach. And according to our timer on the nav log, we should be looking at under 10 minutes left, but seeing that the airport is on the coast, it seems like we just have to make it to landfall, which I don't think we're very far away from at this point. And I think once we blow through these clouds, we will definitely see that we are much closer than it looks. Maybe we'll pop up from underneath them before we get through them. But man, overall, I did not like this leg of the flight. This was easily the most boring part, and I'm really disappointed by how much open water time this route made this leg. I think for this release of Flight Sim, instead of just sticking to the old route that was from the 2004, I think, version of the game, I think they should have updated it to go from one side of Kauai to kind of loop it and then go over to Oahu, then loop it, then go over to Maui, loop it, then go over to the Big Island, and loop it, and then call that an activity. But knowing that we have to go right back over the same ocean path to Oahu in the next leg feels like a little pointless that we're coming out here. So I'm hoping to see something really awesome as we loop around Kauai and in this final leg. But until then, this second to last leg has been a little bit of a disappointment for me. But it is cool just to get the flight time. Let's see. Let's just throw up one layer of flap just so that we can bring ourselves down under this cloud. I just want to give ourselves some sort of visual reference at this point. Although I gotta watch out for going down too low too quickly, so we'll bring that up. Just wanted to expedite our descent a little bit. There, guys. I think I'm starting to see some coastline. There we go. Yeah, coastline through the cloud. There it is. Beautiful Kauai all lit up. And so the airport that we're looking for should be directly in front of us, and it is on the coast. There's a runway that kind of runs itself. Depending on where we're going, it looks like we should be able to spot it early enough to line ourselves up appropriately, but it looks like we got whatever runway. There's two runways, and it looks like either one of them could suit whatever approach we have, depending on where we're lining it up. So no visual reference yet on where we're landing. Let's see. Slightly increasing the throttle just so we can keep a little bit more steady altitude decline. As you can see, our distance is still pretty far. You know, we're just under 3,000 feet now. We don't want to drop too low before landing. Full throttle because we're still descending. There we go. It's starting to pick us back up. Trying to spot this runway. I have a hunch I need to swing out a little bit for it, a little bit to the right for it. But just until I commit to doing anything like that, I definitely need to have spotted my landing. But we're pretty far distance from making that happen still at this point. Well, not spotting the landing. We're in the zone of spotting our landing. We're in a little bit ahead of ourselves for starting to worry about our approach. We still gotta find the airport. Not seen any flashing lights, not seen anything that looks like a runway yet, but I don't think I'm supposed to. I think we're still, again, too far to really kind of read the room. Let's just double check our flaps visually. Yeah, all good. Running at a pretty decent cruising speed. 120 is about what I really wanted to be running up when we were up in the sky a little bit higher. I think we were going just under that the entire time. Getting a little off course there. There we go. Yet on the runway so far. Never landed here before, but I do know just from the nav log, maybe this is the general area. You can tell from the nav log here, the bottom portion of this is coastline. So I don't know that I can exactly match up that piece of coastline with anything. Our heading is set to 292. Alright, so I was supposed to have arrived about 1.5 minutes in the future to the runway. So we're obviously a little bit behind on time. So that has made this leg a little bit longer, and that would clearly be my fault. Definitely my fault if we're late. Let's see, we are close enough now that I should be able to spot, and I think I do. I think I spot both runways right now. And I think I think we're going to be able to line ourselves up perfectly for the one going towards the mountains. All right, let's see, we're getting some, in our navigation, we're starting to see some landfall. Or maybe that runway is not exactly going where I think it is. Nope. Yeah, what I was looking at is not a runway, so we need to line ourselves up way more aggressively. Wait, how do they want us to do this? Oh, I see. It's just following that flight log. Okay, so there's the runway. If we made our approach a little bit more smoothly, we could have probably landed parallel to the coast, but we're going to go for the other runway that is closer to perpendicular to the coastline. So it didn't line ourselves up perfectly for this one. Let's go ahead, throw down our first layer of flaps, bring back the throttle. Let's try to spot our landing. We still got some time. I'll throw the throttle back up all the way. But yeah, we definitely got some time before I need to make that turn in for the final approach here. But it'll be a quick one. We will turn immediately, line it up, and then quickly have to figure that one out. I'm trying to save as much of our elevation as we can at this point. It's tempting to drop it off, but we are only at 3,000 feet, and if we were going to line this one up right with enough time, we should time it with enough time to lose this elevation as well. We are getting close now to where I think we could safely turn around for the runway here. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and do that. And as we do that, I think we're going to lose some elevation. I'm counting on that at least. Can't spot it at this point. But we do have our nifty nav helping us out. Let's not hit it all the way yet. Looks like we still got some distance. Can't see anything yet, but we know from our nav where the runway is, and we're still not close enough to straighten this out for the runway yet. That's better. That's better. Alright, still trying to make us lose elevation, but we're more so still holding 3,000 feet, so we're going to put another, drop our flaps again, pull the throttle back, line this up. And we're going to have to drop ourselves a little quicker than I thought. I thought we had way more time than this, but we got to get ourselves out of the sky. Alright, lost 1,000 feet pretty quickly, or 700 feet pretty quickly. 800 feet. 900 feet down, 1,000 feet down. All right, there it is. It's a pretty aggressive approach, but this is going to be smooth sailing on our way in. Just got to watch out for that tree. Coming in over the coast, over the shoreline, would have been the ideal way to come in here. We're coming at a little bit of a shorter runway, however, we're not going to even need half of it to stop, so everything's just going to be fine, although this is a little bit of a sharp descent. Although this is going to be just fine. We're coming at this with plenty of... Let's throttle up a bit. Plenty of preparation. Maybe I'm not supposed to land here. At 21, I was supposed to land here. No, wait, watch for traffic on 21. Yeah, I was not supposed to land here. So yeah, Navlog told me to land at the other runway. We did not do that already. But this is nice and long. Let's just bring it in now smoothly. Not getting any wind. There we go. Just looking for the end of our runway here. There we go, follow the yellow line. Bring ourselves into taxi. Let's see, that seems to be the big boy terminal. And I think we belong somewhere closer to that little plane on our left over there. So we will taxi ourselves over there and call that a flight. But yeah, overall I was really disappointed by how much time we spent just over the ocean, not really seeing much. It was really cool going over Oahu like that and seeing those cool parts of Oahu that we missed on the way in. But overall, ooh, a little too far there on that left rudder. But yeah, overall, I found myself just a little bit bored. So here we go, coming in to the gate. Thanks for flying with us, guys. I do appreciate it. So yeah, that took us 2 hours and 10 minutes, and that was only supposed to take an hour 53. So yeah, we were a little over time. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.